Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention?
What time is it?
I've just been handed an urgent and horrifying news story.
Now Myers to win the league, yes!
And I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Where was thunder?
Cannonball!
Well, hello and welcome to the Below the Rim Show, a show dedicated to the BBL. It's me, Pabz. I'm joined as always by my main man, Ads. Oh no, wait, he's trying to join. He's having a little bit of technical difficulty. He's had a burger, apparently, a rat burger or whatever that was, microwavable rat burger. Anyway,
was that?
He's
so
on
you
his
don't get
way.
a microwave to work.
Probably that. He's stuck it in the telly. He's on his way. The voice you just heard, of course, was our Northern correspondent, the brave-hearted Mr. Grant Young. How are you, sir?
Yeah, really good, guys. How are we all?
Yeah, getting there. Mr. Nicholson is here, the media guru, with a glass of wine in his hand, as is customary. All right, mate?
I'm sound, mate. All right, geezer.
What,
No,
geez?
I'm okay. Yeah, I am very good, thank you. Very tired. Looking forward to a weekend off.
Maybe we could go out for a drink. We were meant to go out for a drink at Christmas. We never did.
Should we do it? Should we put Christmas hats on and go out this weekend?
I think we should. I think we should do it. Put Christmas hats on. Right, we're waiting for Ads to join, but in the meantime, we've got plenty to get through on this evening's show. 3 games to talk about. We'll have a little chat around those. A bit of a chat on the greatest debate, the greatest players in BBL history, just off the back of some of the interviews we did, just to keep it kind of posted with where we sit on that one. We're going to pick our All-Stars, which we didn't do last week, which we were meant to do. So some of you got on me for that one. Apologies for that, because it was the NBA All-Star game last week, so it would have made sense for us to throw out what we're going to do is throw out our starting fives.
But when do we ever make sense? Why do we need to follow these rules?
We don't conform.
We try. So yeah, we'll pick our All-Stars. BTR 5, we've got a couple of fan questions as well. And then, predictions. We'll sort of wrap things up. GB game, of course, as well, which I know you guys probably caught. I didn't catch either of those. One of them was tonight. We're recording this, obviously, Monday night. But in terms of the BBL, 3 fixtures over the weekend. It was a win for the Sharks over the Scorchers. It was a win for the Giants over the Patriots. And it was a win for the Gladiators over the Scorchers. And a kind of brief but interesting switcheroo in the league table in terms of Giants and Gladiators, which is looking like an interesting little battle there. The battle for 4th place, I guess. It looks like the top 3 in whatever order they end up in is perhaps cemented. Maybe we'll talk about that in a minute. But Surrey first. Let's kind of cross that bridge. 2 games for them, 2 losses for them, and probably disappointingly for them, bigger margins than we've seen from them for a while. They've been able to sort of battle their way into games of late. There's been some injury problems and whatnot, from what we understand, and players coming and going. Quincy Taylor was a big loss, but yeah, it's tough times for Surrey. Do you guys catch either of those games?
Yeah, I caught a little bit of it. It's difficult, isn't it? They got the new guy come in, and he's nice. He's a good point guard.
He looked good, yeah.
Yeah. Might be too little, too late type situation there. Or they could be just bringing him in so they can look at him for next season as a possibility. That always is something that can happen this time of year. You bring players in, check out what they're like. If they're good, you keep them for next season. The only thing I would say about Surrey at the moment, and we keep saying it week in, week out, and I really like the organisation at Surrey, the staff and how they run things there regarding game day and everything else. When do we stop feeling sorry for Surrey and actually say it's not good enough? Because every year, injury problems. Every year, changes. Every year, multiple rotations. Actually, this is happening a lot now. You know, they got rid of Creon, which was a huge debating point at the time.
Bold move, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, very bold move. Obviously, Dan Clark's come in as well. There's a lot going on there. But the bigger picture, it seems the same as before, if you know what I mean. A lot of moves, but little change. And I hope that's not going to be the case moving forward. And I hope they're putting some building blocks in place. It certainly seems like they are. Because like I said, everything about the organization I really, really like. The staff and the back room and everything about it. I just, from a fan's perspective looking in, what's actually changed?
It's an interesting point you make. It's then there doesn't ever seem to be a huge amount of stability regarding players and turnover. That, I mean, in previous seasons, I've always been under the opinion that that's been down to the kind of contracts that they're able to draw up with these higher profile players. Like, they're almost temporary contracts until something better comes along for those players.
Those higher profile players.
But that's a financial thing in previous seasons. Obviously, they made big moves with Dan Clark coming in to kind of steer the ship, as it were. We get to see the fruits of that, obviously, because he's just come in, and this isn't essentially the team he's put together or been a part of managing, if you like.
Yeah, he's got to manage different things. He's got to put a team together. He's got to organise a game.
Yeah, well, what I mean is this isn't his team that he's put together. Yeah. So we won't really get to see what he can kind of do until next season, as it were.
Yeah, it looks like as an organisation, they're doing the right stuff off the court. 100%. 100% doing the right stuff off the court. And yes, they have been unlucky with injuries, but they always seem to be unlucky with injuries.
And is that... Yeah, so having seen them on Sunday, in a game where the scoreline definitely, obviously favours the Gladiators, and if you didn't watch that one or see it live, you think completely different. Like, that was a much closer game than that, and it was just kind of... They looked tired in the fourth quarter. Or having played the Friday and whatever else, been out with like Wang's overplaying in Africa internationally, and it's rather bizarre they chose to take 2 away games during this window. Like, they could have easily have had the kind of time off. You don't expect Sheffield to score 92 points.
No, they've not been that sort of team all season, have they?
Like, Sheffield do not score 92 points. But when you look at the percentages, Sheffield shot against them, 57 for 3, 60% from 2. And that was also them shooting only 28 from the free throw line. So you're like, okay, Sheffield have shot the ball stupidly well.
They really did, yeah.
And you then look at Surrey and you're like, well, why is Boban only playing 6 minutes? We've said on this show before, when Boban seems to be play pretty well, they score big. McFoley looks decent, but to get his 25 points, he's had to take 21 shots. So he's already taken up their full offense. And okay, you're missing... Was it Jalen Ray? Was that who it was that got hurt?
Yeah, he's gone.
Yeah, so I know he's
out for the season.
I think they put a lot of eggs in his basket in terms of it being their kind of main scorer, and it's just not worked out because of injuries. But then the question is, why do they keep getting so many injuries year after year? Like, that's a crazy amount of injuries again and again and again. Like, what is it down there? Is there something? Is it the floor? Is it the facility? Is it training? But then you think, okay, well, Creon's left, Lloyd's come in, and yeah, it's just kind of an odd situation. And like, Josh Steele's coming back from injury, Taylor's back from injury. Carey had a brilliant game the week before, and then he kind of struggled this weekend. And as Paul's just said, you wonder like what changes need to be almost made for them to progress. They changed the coach, but nothing's kind of changed. They do look more organised. Their offense looks better. And it's almost like, is this just that Lloyd's first year of this organisation, loads of changes in the back room, and you go, well, next year's going to be better. Who knows?
We will have to wait and see, but the wins in terms of in their opposition, Sharks, they needed that win when you look at the league table, and the Eagles were kind of bearing down on them a bit. They've given themselves a bit of daylight. They've still got 3 games. They've still played 3 games more than the Eagles. But the Gladiators leapfrogging the Giants, and he's here now, Mr. Masters. Ads, my man, how you doing?
Apologies for my tardiness. It's all my computer's fault.
Well, we just talked about Surrey Scorchers briefly, but we're moving on to the Giants this weekend. Well, the Gladiators first. Well, you were pleased, Grant, with the Gladiators' performance, particularly from the big men.
Yeah, and the big men, and then also like the guys off the bench. But when your big men are Patrick Tappy, Farad Ali Hodzic, and Ali Fraser back in the rotation, like I don't know if any other team have got that amount of depth and quality depth, maybe outside of London now.
Maybe in the Lions, yeah.
And even then, they've really only got the two guys, and Comagan's their third. Like Tappy played a lot. We played a lot of the kind of two big guys at the top. Tappy played a lot of the four. Nailed two from three, big points at the right time. And then when you've got Ali Fraser hitting 10 points in the first quarter for however long he was on, with some vintage Ali Fraser moves, like, yeah, and then you throw in Pharaoh and you're like, wow. Like, we scored 29 points off our bench. And then you've got guys like Fraser Malcolm chipping in, Johnny's chipping in, and like, Oscar Baldwin's our fourth choice big guy. And
he played 4 minutes, didn't he? Yeah.
He played 4 minutes, and he came on actually before Ali did. But then you just look at, it was good seeing David Sloan back kind of on a groove.
He looked good as well, yeah.
Like 22 points, really kind of controlled the team. 5-5. He's still in time, I think, need to limit his turnovers, but he's still a rookie. And Al Durham just continues to like blow my mind with how good that guy is. And he's someone I hope that you almost think, could we keep for another season?
Well, that's what we need to be aiming for now, isn't it?
And it's probably kind of set the team up nicely heading into Wednesday with the kind of trophy semi-final. So, yeah, I think it was overall like one of those games that could easily have gone horrible if we began putting minds towards Wednesday too early. And at some points, both teams didn't want to score in that game. Surrey had massive amount of chances to take the lead, and neither team, I think, scored for like 3 minutes at one stage in the third quarter. That by the time the fourth came, Gladiators just rolled away with it, and it was people like Prince Onwaz on defence. And yeah, I think I've mentioned near enough the whole team there actually for doing something very good. So,
well, let's shift on. Let's move on to the Sunday afternoon, well, the game before Gladiators and Scorchers. Patriots at home, Giants the visitors. It was a very close affair. It looked like it was going to be both these teams famed for having overtime games this season. It looked like it was going to go to overtime, but Giants just had another gear in the fourth quarter, just pulled away, hit some huge shots down the stretch where William Lee was the big dagger as they pulled away. It took it 10 points in the end. But a close-fought affair. Fans were quite happy at Plymouth that it had been a tough effort. We'll talk about Mark-Edric Bell a little bit after this. But Ads, my man, did you catch the game?
Of course.
Enjoy it?
Yeah, I did. It was a pretty entertaining game. I think that winning by 10 makes Giants look possibly better than they were in terms of the result. You know what I mean? It was a closer game than you guys losing by 10.
Oh, definitely.
And it took until the fourth quarter for William to seem to find his groove. You know what I mean? Williams, he's had a funny few weeks because obviously he's just back off that injury where he was out for such a long time, and I don't think we've seen the best of him just yet post-injury. But yeah, it was a good game. It was competitive. Plymouth-Manchester games always seem to be entertaining. It's become a fixture to watch. Plymouth-Manchester, you're going to get an entertaining game. Yeah, I mean, there's a few things with me with the Giants. I mean, one of the highlights of the game was the dunk by your guy,
Mark-Edric Bell.
Mark-Edric Bell. That was spectacular. And then bless him, legend having a go at the other end and
two-hander, almost got it. Yeah,
yeah. But the things, there's a couple of little niggles that I've got with the Giants, and that is that I don't know why Taj Green shoots as many threes as he does, because Taj Green is at his best when he's inside the paint, because he's strong, he's quick, his footwork's great, and if he gets inside the paint with the ball, he's very good at backing defenders down and making something happen. But he seems to shoot a lot of threes, and I think you guys were saying on the commentary that's kind of Vince's style of basketball.
He likes the three ball, doesn't he?
Yeah, he does like the three ball, but when you've got a guy like Taj Green who can do what he can do under the basket, I mean, we know how explosive he is. If he gets on a breakaway, he's going to do something nasty. But Taj, for me, is at his best when he's playing, when he's posting up under the basket, backing guys down and attacking that way, not shooting 3-pointers.
Because
that was the story of the first 3 quarters. Every time Manchester did something that worked, they stopped doing it.
Yeah, and that's the weird thing about him. And then Legend, I've been going on about him all year because he's got to be one of the biggest guys in the league. And I've said it to him, you know what I mean? He needs to own that title. You know, it's like, hey, I'm the biggest guy in this league.
He started incredibly well.
Yeah, and it's just like you'll see them do something where they get the ball inside to him, and all he's got to do is turn around and do a little hook shot, and it's money every time. You know, I just want to see him and Fletch link up a little bit more, get it into him in the high post, because at that height and that size, you know, he should be doing a Shaq type of thing where he just gets the ball,
boom into the basket.
Yeah, exactly. And so yeah, that's the two little things. I mean, they are short-staffed at the moment. I think, you know, it's starting to show a little bit at this point in the season that you know that they're tired, and you know it's getting to the business end of the year. Not heard anything about this potential new signing that they've got coming.
Well, tonight's the night. If it's going to happen, it's got to happen tonight, isn't it?
Is it tonight?
I believe so. 5 o'clock tomorrow, whatever it is.
Right. Yeah. So you know, who knows? But certainly going into the playoffs, they're going to need an extra body, I think.
They've got there's not much depth, but what there is quality.
Well, it is quality because your bench is basically.
Nick Lewis was phenomenal.
Nick Lewis, I remember what I said a couple of weeks ago. If Nick Lewis has a good game, Giants have a good game, because you need a guy like Nick Lewis to bring some balance, and that's what he does. So Nick Lewis has been a bit of a silent hero for the team this year, because when he wants to, he just goes off and he gives you buckets. So Nick's a really important part of that setup. But while Nate Robinson's still out and they've still only got 3 on the bench, you know, they definitely, I mean, ideally you want to have a roster of at least 10, right?
Oh, gotcha. Minimum.
So, you know, in the playoffs, it's when you start getting found out if you've only got a small rotation.
Well, Nicholson, we get your view. I just want to say quickly, we never mentioned it on the broadcast, but Taj Green was only 1 rebound and 2 assists away from a triple-double. I didn't even notice that till I just looked at the stats. But go on, Nicholson, sir, your riposte, if you like.
If I'm honest with you, I was frustrated we didn't kind of put our foot down on the gas a little bit more when we were up by 10. There was moments in the game where we had a 10-point lead and we had a couple of stupid turnovers, like really silly turnovers. And we just didn't push that little bit more, because all of a sudden, if you make that a 15-point lead, it's a whole different ball game. And we just took the foot off the gas a little bit, I think, on the concentration levels. Because Elvisi had a really good game, Rashad had a good game, Ty Gadsden chipped away, had a good game, but there were just silly mistakes and like unforced errors which really put Manchester back into the game. And then we waited for that run, and the run came with a couple of back-to-back threes from Manchester. Momentum changed, and that was it. And then it was a game of 2 teams going at each other, and Manchester had the advantage because, they haven't got depth when you look at it number by number, but actually when you look at it quality,
it's the quality.
They've got great depth. They need a couple of other bodies to give some people a 2-minute, 3-minute, 4-minute rests occasionally. But when you look at the numbers of the squads and look at the bodies on the bench, Manchester are coming off the bench and they're really going for it. And we just made way too many silly mistakes, which let them back into the game. And you can't do that to Manchester because they'll punish you.
Too much quality. Let's take a little break and come back. I want to talk a bit about Mark Edric Bell and just a little bit of the scenes that unfolded after the game, before the game, during the game, and after the game. But we'll be right back. So, Mr. Nicholson, sir, you witnessed
Yes.
it. You were there. It was incredibly emotional. Mike Edric Bell, his last game for the club this season. Possibilities that he's a good professional. We'll see what happens down the line. But family reasons he's got to go. Family club, so Patriots are letting him go. So full credit there. And but the scenes. I mean, I couldn't. It was unreal.
It was crazy, wasn't it?
Yeah,
So,
I wanted to interview him.
Yeah.
And I saw him with 3, 4, 5 kids, parents, adults hugging him, all of them crying. They're giving him gifts, and I couldn't do it. I let the emotionless uni guys do it. And I just said, just make sure you give him an opportunity to say, something for the fans.
Yeah. It's an interesting one. To give Ads and Grant an idea, Mike Hedrick is a super good professional, especially for a rookie as well. He does all the community sessions, all the kids' camps, and he does it with a smile on his face and like a spring in his step. Kids and parents just love the guy. He gives everything. So when you say to him, hey, come and do a coaching session for us, he'll turn up there with the biggest smile on his face, and he'll have so much energy, and he plays with energy on the court as well, which matches up. So he's obviously having to depart. There's some family issues, which he has to go home for, period.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There's no read between the lines or anything like that. He's got some family stuff. He has to go home for it. And people came with signs, banners, and presents.
Standing ovation before the game.
After the game, when he got subbed off.
The first time he got subbed on, big standing ovation. When he got subbed off towards the end, it was incredible. Incredible.
Wow.
He's just one of those guys that, all you got to do is have a conversation with the guy, and you're like, you know what? You're a good dude. Like, you're a great person. So it's a shame to see him go, but it was amazing to see the support for him. Just kids crying, getting their signatures from him at the end of the game.
It was a lot.
It was crazy.
Lovely.
He gave away a pair of sneakers as well, didn't he, Pabz?
Yeah, he gave sneakers. I just, he gave the interview to the uni guys for you guys, for the Patriots official social medias and whatnot. And then just took his shoes off, gave them to a youngster, signed him, was telling them to look after him. They're both in tears, like it was unreal.
Might he come back?
Never say never.
I don't know. To be honest with you, I don't know. Not this season, no. Just from what's going on at home for him, not this season.
Yeah.
Obviously, next season that's down to PJ Carl discussions. But he's the sort of professional that you like on your team because he plays a game and he plays the game very well. But it's the other stuff that he does as well, and he's a great role model for the kids around the area.
Can we also talk about the dunk, please? Because I'm not sure I've seen a facial like that in the BBL period. Not since the turn of 2006. Have I seen? What is he? 6'7" with shoes on?
Yeah.
And he hammered that down over Legend, who is 7
I don't know what
plus.
Legend was thinking, because Legend was stood beside and
we go for it. He's done what defenders do.
Decision to step in front of him.
He's a rim protector. That's what he does. Yeah. He would have thought at that time he's going to get a clean block, but I'm unbelievable. If that's not number one on top 10 plays of the week.
Flipping it, it's got to be number one for a while.
It looks even more beastly in slow motion. I'm just watching it on the.
Oh, yeah.
Are you watching my finish him video?
Yeah, it was nasty.
I was trying to give it some on the call because I thought it deserved it.
Yeah.
Too right, it did. It was nasty.
He's incredible. Absolutely incredible.
That's how you go out. Like he hit 3 threes. Got
3 from 6, 50% from 3, big dunk.
Yeah. Thanks
Came
very
with
much.
a couple of blocks as well, I think. But yeah, he was great. But there you go. We draw a line under that, and that's we hope to see him back in the BBL one day. And good luck to him back at home with everything.
before we leave that game...
there is actually one other thing about that game I want to talk about as well.
There's something that peed me off a little bit about it, and that is that if ever there was an advertisement for they need to introduce VAR, then that
absolutely.
little handbags at dawn in the third quarter went on for far, far too long, and then it was just silly. It's like, gosh, it was nothing, really. I mean, it's an elbow. Is it the worst thing that I've seen all year? No. But the referee was stood right there and saw it, and it seemed to take a good 5 minutes to come up with a decision. And then there was even confusion after that, because didn't you guys go to put the ball in, and it was like... No,
that was LVC playing games.
That's LVC.
Yeah, I thought
that was brilliant.
That was pretty funny.
I was a big fan of that.
But the issue is it took him so long to debate it.
Hey, come on. Can I just say...
We watched it 3 times since then.
I'm with you guys 100%. I think we should support the referees. I said it on the broadcast. Got to support them. We can't really whinge about them.
I'm not slugging the referees off.
No, I'm just saying in general. You see it on Twitter.
Then they called it as a double, right? They called it as a double.
Which was ridiculous.
Yeah, which is nonsense.
Because there's no way that...
This is the other thing. This is the other thing that went through my mind today, thinking about it retrospectively, is that when you watch it back, that the referee's seen all that. He's under that. And it almost feels like he bottled it a little bit. Yeah. He's used the fact that there isn't VAR, as it were, or whatever you want to call it, video evidence or whatever, to kind of go into debate with the other referees, and then they come out with a nice amicable finish, when actually Roberson elbowed Issa Brandon in the face, post them finishing with a little, both of them giving and taking, whatnot. The elbow was uncalled for, unnecessary, unsportsmanlike conduct. Should have been free throws and a tech. Yeah,
but there's no way that Issa deserved a technical foul as well, or whatever it was he got given.
100%. But in that sense, it felt like the referee kind of sat back on that and bottled it. Yeah.
Because that was the crazy bit. It was like, what?
He's right there. He's seen it. Yeah.
Well, it was like, how's Issa getting how's he getting an unsportsmanlike for that one? I mean,
I think we were really hard done by that, to be honest with you.
You can't give out unsportsmanlike for players squaring off when nothing happens. If punches get thrown, okay, but if it's just a bit of chat,
it's different.
You get elbowed in the face and you square up to someone and you don't touch him.
Yeah.
So I get it. He's got a good. He talks a good game. He knows how to get under someone's skin. But if you react like that, then
I'm now. This is the issue in my head. I'm now expecting to see an unsportsmanlike every time someone squares up to anyone.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the only way to make that fair, right?
Oh, that's going to be fun on the next game.
It's possibly our fault because we went on a Giants evening to the Manchester Storm the other night, so maybe and stayed. Ant loved it. He stayed till the very end. He was so into it. So they had him on the ice at the end of the game and everything. Nice. So I'm thinking that maybe he's carried something from the ice hockey.
Nice work.
So yeah.
Right. Let's talk about the greatest debate. We've talked about it on various different shows of this. We started our kind of Hall of Fame, which we're going to update on the website at some point. I'm going to try and make little VTs for each of the guys that we kind of put in, little highlight reel. But this has come up because we're starting to get some. I want you guys to try and do the same thing. Whenever there's you need to get one with Trez ads, because you sit next to the guy. We need to, and you've been up there, and Mark Robinson's been back, and players of that ilk. Grant, my man, you're up there. You've got Gareth Murray. You've got, I don't know if Kieran Achara is accessible, or anybody that goes further back than that, if I'm honest. If you can get hold of anybody, if Sterling Davis is knocking about, we want his opinion on it. But four classic players, shall we say, 4 players who played through some pretty unbelievable times way back when, have weighed in now on who they think the greatest BBL players of all time are, which I think is interesting. And I'd like to get as many opinion from those guys as possible. At the moment, so Vince McCauley said to us, I think it's the last time he came on the show, Alton Bird, and he said it to me before. Alan Cunningham was phenomenal, but Alton Bird is the greatest player to play in the BBL. Robert Youngblood, of course, at the cup final, said to us, Nigel Lloyd, hands down. Nigel Lloyd is number one.
Did Nigel say anything to you about it when you spoke to him?
Oh, yeah. He said, Robert's my man. He said,
well, I told him the other day, I was like, hey, Nigel, check this out. And he was like, really? And he was genuinely quite surprised and flattered all in one. I was like, seriously, watch the interview.
Well, he said that he's, Robert Youngblood's my guy.
Yeah.
And then Nigel Lloyd picked, I'm going to say ultimately he chose Dorsey, but he said early years Colin Irish. But
I found it interesting that he went down it all depends on like the decades.
Yeah, that is
I agree with that, and I like that.
Yeah. Who said that? Who said that?
Nigel Lloyd.
Nigel.
Where's the interview?
On our feed. Thanks for listening.
Oh, mate,
it's on our podcast feed. Went up last night after the game.
I didn't see it. Sorry.
No, that's all good.
I'll listen to it immediately.
It's we're on the podcast.
Imminently. Then.
He basically
Nigel said Dorsey.
He basically picked Dorsey. Yeah.
Just
said as a teammate, he was phenomenal.
He was telling me why the other night as well, because obviously I said, Nigel, obviously with all the respect in the world to you, but if I had to pick, I'd say Dorsey. And he was like, the thing with Dorsey was that you always knew he was there, and you knew that if he had the ball, you felt good. You know what I mean? In a crunch situation.
Well, you listen as well. He says he's a hard guy. He said if you didn't get hit, he's screaming at you while you put the ball up.
Yeah.
But so he said Dorsey. Paul James, I then asked, and I can't believe I'd not asked him it before, but PJ again said, Alton Bird was a guard that he was doing things he'd not seen before, but he picked Nigel Lloyd as well.
Funny thing is, we spoke about it in the office this morning because we were listening to it in the office. Yeah. And me and PJ come to the conclusion, it doesn't matter who anybody's picked, it all comes back and everyone has a connection with PJ.
Yeah, very true, because he coached
That's what
Dorsey.
we decided.
Yeah.
Well, did PJ coach Dorsey?
He would have coached against him, wouldn't he? Would he coach against him?
No, he said he coached him. I'm sure he said he coached him. See, this is the one thing I've not got through all the history books is coaches.
He didn't coach him at Giants or
Leicester.
Birmingham. Dorsey didn't play for Leicester,
No,
did he?
Birmingham?
No, definitely
PJ
not
didn't go there.
He played for Newcastle and he played for Everton Tigers.
Everton Tigers, maybe?
Did PJ coach them?
No, I don't think so, no.
Well, it's Tigers, unless if the franchise upped and moved. He was always a Tiger.
Yeah.
I'm sure that's what he said. Well, have a listen back to the interview. I'm sure he said he coached Dorsey, whether or not that was an all-star game or something.
I agree as a generational thing, right? Because
was PJ England coach for a bit?
He was, yes.
Oh, well, there you go. He coached Dorsey.
Yeah. Dorsey had 15 caps, didn't he?
He coached Dorsey for England, then, I would imagine.
I agree with the generational thing. It's like any GOAT debate. It's like everyone's going to have a different opinion based on the generation of what basketball they like or what they prefer as superior. And I'm with that.
And then us historians can gauge that as to whether it's relevant. Grant?
Exactly.
I was just going to I was just going to leave a wee fish dangling there and say, that's why LeBron's the GOAT and not MJ. And just because I knew that was annoying
bullshit.
you guys.
Bullshit. Hey, I'd say Josh Bett. Right, listen, Josh Bett the other night challenged me to tweet something. And I was like, Josh, it's not a tweet that I dares do out. Don't worry about that. But what I can't be bothered with is then having to interact with people after I do the tweet. And the tweet I was going to put was that LeBron broke the scoring record. And all I was going to do was put a picture of LeBron and put still not top 10 of all time. And Josh called me up going, do it, man, do it. And I'm like, Josh, I can't be asked because I'll have to then speak to people about it and get annoyed because people are wrong. But
I know
if anyone wants to... If you want to, if this week's show, Pabz, ad says LeBron James still is top 10 of all time, please go ahead because I've just said it. LeBron is not top 10 of all time. He's top 20 of all time. He's not 10 of all time.
I'm not going to get into it, but I don't agree with you.
People still get annoyed when I refer
sorry.
to him as Wilt 2.0 because that's basically what he is. He's Wilt Chamberlain.
Do you have him top 10 of all time?
I do.
I don't have him in. I don't have him in the top 5. I'd have to look.
Oh, definitely not top 5.
I'd have to
definitely in the
look.
top 10, 100%.
I'd have to look deeply into my soul.
Man, I've hardly spoke during that whole Plymouth Manchester thing, and I've just thrown that wee grenade in, and boom. But
well, everyone keeps saying let's do a pod special on the top 10 of all time, and
fuck it, it's NBA.
We'll do it.
Listen, there's one thing I took from.
Did anyone watch it? Look, shit. Did anyone watch the All-Star game?
No.
Oh my god.
No, me neither.
Every game in the NBA is like an All-Star game.
No interest in that.
Kaz texted me the other day and goes, "Look at this scoreline," and I think it was a Dallas game, and it was like 178 to 164 or something.
Oh, the overtime one.
And I'm just like,
it's just a normal league game.
I'm just like, oh man, this is why the NBA. It's just. Yeah.
Listen, Danny Byrne ruined the NBA for me when he said something that really hit home. He said, I don't watch it. I asked him about NBA teams when I interviewed him ages ago. And he said, I don't watch it. It's like watching WWE compared to the rest of the basketball world. And he's absolutely right. I can't watch it now.
What?
It's too long. It looks like it's scripted. It's dog shit.
He's right. I agree with him because I tried. There was a free game on YouTube last night. It was the Lakers and the Mavericks, and I thought, this would be good.
Yeah.
And I watched about 10 minutes. So I was like, I'm bored. I'm just going to go and watch something else.
Watch Luke go 1-on-1 and watch the Lakers fall apart every 5 seconds and shout at each other.
Yeah.
Anyway.
BBL. Sorry, guys.
On
the BBL one, like obviously from my generation.
I'm interested to know you guys have.
I always remember people like, for me, people like Billy Singleton, Sterling Davis, Rico Alderson, like loads of the Brighton guys, because Brighton were around about that time. Chester, at the time as they were called, were kind of like
Jets.
top kind of teams. I always remember like when Sterling was wherever he was at, like he was the main man. So when he came to us, it was always like, wow, like how have we got this kind of almost Hollywood-esque kind of player who can do it all, and
great scorer. Yeah,
he probably played in both kind of generation, or kind of did he? Well,
he did. He crossed both. Late 90s, early 2000s.
Late 90s, 2000s, and hung around and left a massive kind of footprint in the league and as a great coach and a player. And so for me, that's when I always say that. And then you look at what further on, and people who will then, like you obviously refer to Ramon as like the current GOAT as such, and it'll be hard to see, is he the GOAT between 2010 and 2020, that kind of stuff, or however long we kind of spell it out. I think it's really fascinating hearing different people debate it, and it's brilliant hearing, like, that's the 3 or 4 guys you've interviewed, Pabz, all said same guys or some, or had, and you can just see the passion these guys speak with when they talk about it. Like, it's brilliant to hear. Like, I'm loving that.
Well, did you guys
get? Oh, go on, sorry.
Did you guys hear he was at the Giants game the other night?
Who? Dorsey?
During All-Star weekend. No, Fab was in the house.
Oh, you did see that?
Yeah. Fab flew in for the weekend.
That's cool.
Bellevue was empty. Apart from huddled at the centre of the court was Nigel Lloyd, Vince, Fletch, and Fab.
Nice.
With Fab showing them plays and talking, quite intensely about obviously his views of the game and everything like that. And it was quite something to see that. We stayed well away. There was a couple of us milling around. I was just looking over, going, "God, I'd love to be stood in that conversation right now."
Well, it seems to have paid off. They played very well against the Patriots.
Yeah, just seeing Fletch. just seeing Fletch listening to his mentor, you know what I mean? Because obviously Fab's his mentor.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I mean, Fab, I'd got wind of it before the game, and was told, don't, make a big deal out of it. He wants to just come in and watch the game. He don't want to have to, be mithered and everything like that. And that was really cool because he just sort of came in, sat down in the crowd, watched the game. He didn't want any sort of fanfare or anything. And it was such a cool night though, because for me, I'm sat there. I did the MC in that night. It's the first time I've ever done it.
Oh, cool.
And I'm looking around and I can see Trez, I can see Mark Robinson, I can see Fab, I can see Jason Swain, and I'm just looking around going, this is sick. You know what I mean? It's like there's not a lot of people in this room right now that get it.
Who these people
Do
are.
you know what I mean?
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
And,
I felt the same when I interviewed Nigel Lloyd yesterday. It's like this guy. This is like,
and Nigel Lloyd, of course.
This is like somebody. This is like on TNT, somebody interviewing the equivalent of Michael Jordan, or
Yeah, totally.
It's
like
number one guy from the 90s. Like,
seeing those 5 guys in the gym, and what was great as well is that there was Sheffield fans and Giants fans that just could not believe that Mark Robinson was there, because that connection, it sort of hit home, and there was fans from the 90s just going. And Mark went up into he walked up into the Sheffield fans because he recognised some people from back in the day, and it was just a lovely night, And even Vince, because Vince is obviously OG as well, so it's like, it's just, for me, it was just a moment, you know what I mean? Just seeing those guys all in the same room.
Well, next time they're all there, ask him who the best was, who the greatest BBL player of all time was, and we'll get a list going, because at the moment we've got 4, and it's fun. It's good. I like it. It's good. Right.
Yeah.
Let's move on. I'm hoping you guys are ready for this, because I'm going to poll this. Not live. I'll make a note and I'll poll it tomorrow. We'll make people listen to the show first, preferably. That'd be a good idea, wouldn't it? Let's All-Star 5s. Yeah, All-Star starting 5s. Now the principle, the effort, or the idea behind this is not north, south, unless that's what you've done, or more sort of along the NBA route of two key players potentially picking the rest. So just pick your starting 5. 2 guards, 2 forwards, and a centre. Simple as that. From the BBL this season as your All-Star 5. Who'd like to go first?
One from each. One only max 1 player from a team, or
no bollocks.
Do we have the same players as each other?
Yeah.
Okay.
No, if it's exactly the same, it'll be a bit dull, but we'll see how that goes.
Okay.
I doubt it will be exactly the same. Well, maybe. We'll see. Who wants to go first?
So from this season?
Yeah. Yeah, imagine it's an all-star window, and this is what we're running out.
Okay, I got it.
Go on then.
And it's just the whole league, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so
Nicholson.
my 1 and 2.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with Fletch, followed by Patrick Whelan.
Yeah.
And then looking at my 5.
You're 5, all right? Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I'm jumping straight to 5, and I'm going to go. It's an all-star game, right?
Oh yeah.
So I'm not basing this on these are my 5 best players in the BBL right now. I'm basing this is an all-star game.
Kind of a combination. Good players, exciting. Dunks,
okay, so
throwdowns.
I'm going for Sharma.
Yeah.
On the 5 spot. I'm going for Green on the 4 spot.
Yep.
And then for the 3, I am going with Decker.
Nice.
Nice.
Who's up next?
Right, I'll go. I would have Sloan and Watson Gale.
Yep.
I would put Decker as my 3. I would have... I'm in between VJ King and Loving as my 4.
Which one?
And I'll maybe try and go someone different from every team. Yeah. No, that's not going to work because then I know who I'm going to change my 5 to then. Let's go VJ King.
Yeah.
I said him. No, not. And then I'm going for at the 5. You know what? I really like the Sharma shout if it's an all-star game from an entertaining point of view. I like that. But I'm going to go with Tappy.
Oh, right. Okay.
Said that deliberately.
Patrick Tappe. That's my man. What you got?
Shit, I didn't pick a...
Bizarrely, quite similar to Nicholson. Fletcher's my point guard.
Mm-hmm.
Patrick's my 2 guard.
Mm-hmm.
My forwards are Mark Loving
Mm-hmm.
and Jamel Anderson.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's an all-star game.
Yeah, his alley-oop dunk should have been higher in the top 10.
Yeah,
That was amazing.
Yeah. And the 5, I'm going for Costa Koufos, putting him at a 5.
Nice.
Is what I'm doing there because let's face it, there really isn't many true 5s in the league. So you've got to be looking at your forwards in general, going, well, who would be good at the 5? And for me, I like Koufos in that position.
All right, well, I'll give you mine then.
And it was a tough one. Tappe was very much in the conversation with myself, though.
He's been very good this season, hasn't he?
Hey, what are you going for, Pabz?
Yeah.
Mine is no surprise. Ramon Fletcher at the guard. I've gone Hamlet at the 2. I want some high scoring athletic play. Decker at the 3. I've gone Justin Gordon at the 4 because that guy is a walking highlight reel. Was previous BTR highlight reel of the season. And I've gone Taj Green as my 5 because I like him at the 5 and he's incredibly exciting to watch.
This also tells you how good this season's been when Dirk Williams hasn't been mentioned one bit.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Because I was looking at it, yeah. How do you not have Dirk Williams in
I was
your 5?
tempted, but then then it's Decker. It would have been Decker I would have been leaving out.
But Dirk will give you highlights, though. I mean, Dirk gets
he did. He got a couple of big dunks on Sunday, yeah.
Yeah.
There you go.
But,
that's not gone for.
And then you probably said if we did this maybe 2 months ago, like you'd have Dusha in there.
Probably have Antonio Williams hanging around there as well. You want someone explosive and
Yeah, I'm just going by the theme. The theme of it is an all-star one, right? So you just want to have some highlights, man. You guys just want to.
I mean,
to be fair, these teams are good teams as well. It's not like they're just highlight reel teams. These are actually teams. These are starting 5s that would start, every week BBL.
Yeah, I mean, if you put it out to the fans, I think that we've pretty much nailed all the people that would get votes. I mean, if it was a fan vote,
if it was a fan vote, fans, Patriots fans, they vote in mass.
They don't count.
Yeah, Taj Green has got to be in an all-star. I mean, I didn't put him in my 5 because I had to have Mark Lovin in there.
Yeah,
but
I know, but it'd be interesting to see if we all picked like a 10, 2 starting 5s. Like that would be really. I mean, we're not doing that, but I think it just shows you the level of talent in the league this year and how every team's got. It's not just 1 or 2 guys. It's
I could easily swap
3, 4.
Oh, we should do pieces.
We should do benches as well.
I could easily swap my 5 and still
7 reserves.
This could be 7 reserves.
Yeah, I could do another 5 quite easily.
I think so too.
Wang, for example.
Well, yeah, I had him down, and then I put Hamlet in instead because Hamlet's just been a scoring machine.
Yeah,
puts up big numbers, and it's genuinely exciting to watch.
See, then I'm looking at. Then
I put Sloan down, but then I changed Sloan to Fletch.
Rashad Hassan and stick out VC down there. VJ King.
Rashad's got a couple of throwdowns this season as well, big ones.
Larry Austin.
Larry Austin. Larry Austin.
Well, I was gonna say him, then I said Watson Gale. Like it was between Watson Gale and Larry Austin for me.
There you go.
Well, I'll tell you who else I like at the point guard is my man's just gone blank. Leicester.
Kimball.
Kimball McKenzie's had a great season, yeah.
Kimball, yeah. I'm loving him.
You know what? He looked brilliant tonight for GB when he was on the floor, to be honest.
Solid, isn't he? Absolutely solid.
Did not look out of his depth at all. Yeah. Kimball's had a brilliant breakout season.
Stick Luke Nelson in there. You can go on forever. There's quality around.
This league's good this year.
Move on.
Let's I want to just ask quickly as well, the model that BBL Maths put out recently with the league table. I asked Nicholson on the broadcast if he breathed a sigh of relief because he's not often wrong, BBL Maths guy. So one thing that did piss off some Flyers fans was that according to his model, he's got the Flyers finishing third. So it's Lions, Riders, Flyers, Gladiators in the top four, then Giants fifth, Knicks sixth, Pats in seventh, Sharks in eighth, and the Eagles and the Scorchers missing out, which is evidently becoming more and more of an uphill struggle for those two teams down there. But just very quickly, is that how it's going to finish? Do we think that's how it's going to end?
Not far from the truth, is it?
It's not. It's tough to see. Yeah, the only one that I would say
all they want, but if they finish third, it's all like an amazing season for them.
Yeah,
so
the only one I'd throw out there as maybe a bit of a wild card to it is the Sharks, and I only say that because their style of play and some of the new guys they've got in are very good, and maybe they've not had time to have an impact on the mathematics of it because. Yeah, I think they're the ones that could maybe cause this to be honest, a little bit topsy-turvy. But
that 7th, 8th spot is really interchangeable, and potentially 9th if they not so much actually. Just looking at the league table now, but then that 2nd and 3rd is really interchangeable, and then that 4th to 6th is really interchangeable. So it's kind of like 3 different sections you got on the go there. And if someone breaks into the other section, then fair play to them, they've stepped up. But realistically, those are the 3 groups that you're looking at, aren't you?
And then you look at Sheffield, I suppose. I've just clicked on the new boy. Okay, he's only been in a couple of games. People maybe don't know the scout on him as much, but he's a very efficient scorer. Like he instantly improves their team. Like I was surprised against Surrey that Kipper then came off the bench for them. I talk about him being basically one of their best guys, but you've got Ramsey, Nelson, Pipkins. They seem to love Routinho. Bennett Cook's been pretty good this year for a 5-man, and
he's rolled it back, hasn't he? He was that impressive in his first season. He started badly, but he's looked very good.
And then adding Pipkins, you're like, actually, that Sharks team, the changes they've made on paper makes them better. So it'll be interesting to see how they come together, and then. They actually go, when you think about it, they've got Rodney Glasgow, who's maybe not been the same as he was, and Del Petch off the bench as well. Like they legit go 8 deep now. Yeah,
we got that, and I think obviously Patriots, we've got a new body coming in, so who's yet to see what he's like on the court. In Ralph.
Not to mention the potential Giant signings as well.
Yeah.
And any other business that might take place. I didn't say anything. Right, let's hit up we've got a couple of fan cues. They're GB related. So I'll have to hand over to you guys probably more than anything else. But we've had one a while back from Mark Brandreth, who said, we went to the women's GB game this week versus Estonia, a really enjoyable night, but GB basketball should be ashamed. So many empty seats, why not give them away to local kids? Is the running of GB basketball so bad we should just forget about it? ?
No. Don't just give them away to local kids.
But if they're empty seats?
You're only going to know that they're empty seats until the day of the tickets are going to go, the day of the game, because there's potential for people to book it. How about promote it better?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
You know, all well and good saying empty seats, but if you're running a ticket site or a game site and you go, we've got empty seats on Friday, we've got empty seats Saturday, you might not have empty seats Sunday, they could fill up, people can come in. So you can't just, if you're going to give them away to schools, you've got to give schools like a week's notice, 2 weeks notice or whatever to get people there. So that, you know,
so rather than give them away, publicise things a little bit better, maybe.
So maybe you could do promotional stuff. You can do all sorts of stuff to get bums on seat. You can do kids go free, parents pay. There's so many things you can do to get some extra bums on seats. Yeah, but promote it better.
I'm gonna completely agree with you there, Nicholson. And in terms of a promotion, you know, we saw it straight away between BBE and our club, the Magic and Mystics, and they did us a rate of 10 tickets for 40 quid. You know what I mean? So it's basically a £5 a ticket.
Peanuts,
you know, and so many of our kids came. It was great.
Where was the game being played? The GB game?
Newcastle?
That was the Sunday game. No, it was in Manchester.
No, there was one in Newcastle, wasn't there, as well? But
so the one in Newcastle, right?
The men's was in Newcastle.
Right.
But the BBL, Newcastle BBL team are renowned for having multiple hub clubs.
Yeah,
that's what they talk about all the time.
They run the basketball scene,
right? Multiple hub clubs around Newcastle area. Where was the promotion for the hub clubs? Where was
the men's game? Did it not basically sell out?
I think no, I don't think it did. You know, didn't I see 1,200 as a stat somewhere?
Well, that's still pretty good. 1,200.
No,
but usually Newcastle usually sell it out when they've got the men's games up there. I mean, the first of the two women's games, the midweek one was pretty poorly attended. But I think
the Portugal one was a lot better.
Yeah, the Sunday one was better. There was a lot of empty seats for sure, and it is disappointing, especially I think because the women continue to do great things. And are so overlooked by it all.
Absolutely.
Because the guys, I mean, tonight's this window for the men with dead games, they meant nothing. And with the women, they kind of, you know, they were pretty much out of the running. And after the game, we were still looking at each other going, so are we in or not? The word came through that they were. And there's a lot of people saying that this women's team, could potentially do better than the fourth place that they had a couple of years ago, because this is a stacked team, man. Stacked.
The depth is crazy now.
I think the promotional stuff needs to be done better, though, doesn't it? That is simple as that.
Yeah, they got to promote it.
If you think about, we've got various hub clubs and stuff like that, and if we're really desperate to get some additional bums on seats and not just desperate for bums on seats, but actually want to help the local community out a little bit and do something nice for the people involved in our program. You should offer the kids to go free, but you're only allowed to go free with a full paying adult. Then all of a sudden people come in, they're buying 4 tickets just to get one for free. You know, you've done your bit and you're getting bums in seats.
Well, let me say though, after the women's game, they were out there for ages signing autographs. Semi-Fab Burnley was just mobbed. The kids just were like, she's amazing. You know what I mean? And she was out there for a long time signing autographs and doing selfies. It was great.
Right, we'll take a quick breather and come back. We've got a couple more questions. We'll help the BTR 5 do some predictions and go to bed. All right, good. We're back. Grant Young just wants to add something quickly on what we were talking about just now, which of course was the GB publicising or marketing the game or whatnot. Go on, Grant.
I just think just what Ad's kind of touched on about the kind of performance of the girls, like the depth and talent we're getting. Girls now missing out the squad to how many girls? We must have 2 or 3 girls going to WNBA stuff this summer. We've got some top class girls playing in top leagues across Europe. We've got, and then you speak to people like Chantel, who's like, I know it's my time to step back because age, whatever, but she could easily keep balling with that team forever if she wanted, probably, because of what she's done for the game. But it takes good people to know, you know what, my time's done because the next generation are ready. Whereas the men have never really capitalised on any kind of momentum, whereas the women just keep kind of overpowering what they've done and going more and more further and further than anyone ever expects them to do. But you look at the men. I remember going to the men's games that they hosted in Glasgow a few years ago. I'm almost certain it was Israel games, and it was the kind of the first time that I think that was the first time that Dan Clark spoke on behalf of players. I think that was that one. And you keep looking, has things actually changed for these guys? I know Dan's now involved more with the team, so it's going to be interesting to see.
Well,
but the whole product needs to get better. Like Matt from BBL Daily was asking about, he mentions it every window. Like, you can't buy GB gear. You can't buy a GB basketball T-shirt. You can't buy a hoodie unless you go to these games. I don't know if they do merch anymore at these games, and the ones that did this window. No, like the GB stuff, like the training tops, even the blue, the red, whatever, that say just Great Britain basketball. They are nice looking T-shirt. Exactly. And you're like,
shit. If I was into a women's GB game and I could buy a Joel Eden jersey in my size, I'd buy one per se. Do you know what I mean? But it's like the only way you can get them is if you put in a special order somewhere, and it takes ages to get them. You know what I mean? So, yeah, exactly.
Like, we just don't help ourselves.
No.
Like, and I just think you look at. I watched the majority of the men's game tonight, and we've got some really useful kind of players. But I think there 24 players named pre get together, and I honestly reckon less than 15 turned up for practice. Because if we only suited up with 10 guys tonight, Mockford was there but was in tracksuit. Right. So we're like 12 guys per squad, and we've not even filled that. We've only filled it with 10 playing players. And Sharma dropped out. Michael Bell, I think is his name, dropped out from the weekend's team. Only Kimball really came in. Someone else came in, didn't they?
Watson Gale.
I mean,
he played the last game.
Completely different.
Yeah.
It's a completely different team to the beginning of the campaign.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, there's no one. No, it's not. It's not. And it was, a few little things like it was great to see Aaron Menzies playing as an ex-Magic guy.
I thought he was really good.
So, it's one of them, but, no Luke Nelson, no Gabe Olaseni, no Miles Hesson, no. Because when that team's on and they've got all those guys, they're incredible.
Because even if you had those three guys in today, there was a moment in that game where GB actually had a chance to take the lead. It was about 49-all, I think it got to. And you were like, this game's on the balance here. And then Serbia, when they moved the ball, it was different gears. They were gears ahead at times. But there was opportunities GB had to kind of keep them under pressure. And this is probably where experienced international basketball, some of the guys just looked like they hadn't played anywhere close to that level. And some of these guys are playing top divisions across Europe now. It's gone are the days where the men's team are picking up guys from NM3 in France, for example. So, yeah, you just hope that this is kind of like a starting place for the next kind of GB squads with guys like Miles, Gabe, Luke Nelson, if Ovi comes back into the fold. Because we just missed that someone with kind of experience around these guys. What was a good Ellis, is it? He was brilliant tonight, the young boy.
The young guy,
Yeah, he was brilliant. Mackenzie, Kimball looked good. Aaron Menzies, I thought anytime he was on the floor, he caused them issues, and actually defensively we played probably some of our best basketball with Aaron on the floor from what I've seen. So I think there's wee shoots of goodness there, but yeah, I think the women's team has a lot more kind of opportunities to grow, which then says, well, why are we not selling their product better? We've got to start doing it.
We've got a few GB questions that have flown in on the Discord channel. One from Coach Rob K. In order for the BBL to thrive and to be taken seriously, do we need our GB teams to be competitive in Europe and world competitions? Question for the group.
See, I think that it's the weird thing is the exact reverse is happening right now. The league's thriving, but men's GB isn't thriving.
Is that partly because it was...
Whereas the new owners seemingly aren't that interested in the WBBL, but yet half of the GB women's team at the moment play in the WBBL, and look what they're achieving right now.
Is some of it partly because the this window, like you say, it was a done deal, and that was perhaps previously.
I think also what's massively impacted is that over the last few years, is we've not competed at every age group. We've kind of dipped our toes in. When did the last time GB under-20s played? Can't remember. And under-20s hasn't been a thing for a while. But it looks like the plan is to enter all them this summer, from what I believe. Oh. So it'll be interesting to see what that kind of pathway looks like. I think it's been mentioned in the Discord tonight about, well, a lot of our issues come down to, like, Serbia have a certain way they play, and everyone who comes into that squad knows how to play. Whereas our identity probably changes camp to camp, depends on who the head coach is, for the men, on the men's side anyway. So if there is kind of a set pathway from 16s, 18s through, then people coming into the squad regardless will know the kind of strategy, the moves, the plays, whatever you want to call it, to fit into the squad to be able to do a job. Whereas I don't think we have an identity. I couldn't just say how...
Because they took away the pathway.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. They just kind of ripped it up and said, oh, well, see you later.
Yeah, we're doing quite well, so let's just get rid of it.
And no one's held accountable for it either.
Yeah, one thing I like to see, and I like to see it now, and I wish I saw it when I was a younger fan, is I get to see guys week in, week out in the BBL that play for Great Britain. So I have a familiarity with the GB squad when I watch it now, because there's lots of guys who play in the BBL playing there. So that's a cool thing as a fan. You get to see that. But yeah, like you guys said, it just needs to be a little bit from the ground up.
Another question. The GB passport before age 16 rule from Paul Young. Should we have someone dedicated to this? We seem to miss out on so many players. Linking that to the BBL, can they play here and not count as an import, but it takes a spot from a homegrown player? Which would you prefer, and why?
Yeah, there we go. That's how we improve it. Find some foreigners and make them British.
Well the big one on this is Soshan, isn't it? The thing on this, and I think that's a little bit, in my opinion, and from what I've read about the guy and his family, we were never going to get him because his mother was a Polish basketball legend. There's no way, he's got a strong link there that's going to make him want to play for Poland.
Well, I mean, look, let's not beat around the bush. We were lucky that we had Luol Deng playing for GB, because he could have chosen to play for his home African nation. If you remember all that stuff about Luol Deng, but I mean. Yeah, we're never going to get him. But the whole thing, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to cross back over to the women's again, is that you get the situation where you can't take certain players because you're only allowed one naturalised player with a passport or something stupid like that. Right. So basically, if Carly Samuelson plays, it means that Kennedy Leonard can't play or something like that. But what it also means is that one of the best centres out there with a British passport is you guys might not remember, but Sam Roscoe, that was here for 3 years playing for Mystics. She got her first GB call up, but she could only play because Kennedy and Carly weren't playing. And Sam's got a British and an Aussie passport. And both her parents are British, so it's like what
that's mad. Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's like it's almost like you've got to have a point system as to how British you are. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's like,
it does seem like that. Is that the same for every country?
People often joke that when you talk to the GB girls, I mean, you've seen some of the interviews I've done. Ailey Simpson's got an Australian accent, but obviously she's British by her parents. Rachel Vanderwall, is Canadian British. Steph Collins, American British. There's a lot of them. Georgia Jones is half and half American, half British. Simple as that. So yeah, you've got the way the system works is weird. who's the newer player that we've got? Christina Nigwe, WNBA player. She's American British. I believe Temi Fagbanle. I think I want to say that she could have opted for another country.
I think you're right. I think there was another option. Yeah,
but I mean, Temi's got a WNBA championship ring, for Christ's sake. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't get higher than that, does it? So It's a very, very odd thing, this passport thing.
Is it the same for every country, or is it something we impose on ourselves? And I say that because that sounds like the sort of thing we'd impose on ourselves.
Yes, it's probably the sort of thing we impose on ourselves.
I'm almost certain it's a cross borders rule across FIBA.
Yeah,
I wouldn't be surprised. It's that kind of thing.
Yeah, I'm almost certain it's a FIBA rule.
But typically, GB are going to be the only country that it truly affects. You know what I mean? So if you're going to pick any country in the world that's going to have a nightmare, it's going to be GB. Let's face it.
I just hope they do get the pathway stuff back in, because I know one of the questions, or part of the question was, well, is someone looking out for these under-16s? Well, there's probably loads of people like that. And I'm sure we used to have a guy who did that. And there was been speaking to people, and it's a very young age to try and commit to that. But if people are able to keep their options open, I see it a lot up here with like the Scottish rugby team. Like the Scottish rugby team have 4 or 5 guys of South African descent that have either got a Scottish granny or a Scottish dad, or they've lived here 4 years, which qualifies them under the kind of rules of the sport to play for that nation. Like this, I think half the team probably that played for Scotland against France at the weekend probably have some sort of South African or Australian heritage.
Yeah.
So obviously every sport.
The only other sport. Well, I mean, the only other sport you see it a lot in is ice hockey, because the GB ice hockey team, there's a lot of Canadian guys who have got British parents, or in some cases, one parent's British and one of them, there's a pro guy that has played for Manchester for years, who I think is not only half British, but he's been over here long enough, much like Tony Dorsey back in the day.
Well, they all did it. Alan Cunner, Alton Bird, they all played.
Yeah, and I can't remember how many years. It's 10 years or something.
8, 7 or 8.
Yeah, and that gives you the right. But I mean, but that you think about it, it's like, wow, Tony Dorsey played for England.
Russ Saunders did as well, yeah. And we beat like Russia and stuff. Like it was, and Russia were Olympic and world champions at one stage. But we didn't have GB then, so we didn't compete.
It was England.
Yeah, we didn't compete in any of the majors because it had to be Britain, and it wasn't Britain. We've got we're not going to do any more questions. We haven't got any time. I've got a good one from Louis, which we'll save, which basically is asking us which overseas GB players should / are maybe possible to move back to the BBL, and what teams would they like? What would their best destinations be? We'll tackle that one, I think, next week, because that could be fun. But I was quite flippant with the Soshan thing. I realise he's not got the passport, the British passport, for whatever reason, although he could have had one. And there's a lot of fans up in arms that he didn't do that, and there's an opinion that he did that because he didn't want to touch British basketball with a barge pole. I mean, first of all,
you got to think about it.
You can't really blame him, can you? Yeah.
No, I mean, it's that thing, isn't it? I mean, I still to this day can't believe that Deng played for GB. You know what I mean? Because, Deng, for me, is the guy, is one of the biggest wasted opportunities that British basketball have ever had. Because look at the work he's done in the African continent, and look how
done that all here. Yeah.
Look how great African basketball is now. And I've said it before, it's like, have a look what you could have won.
Yeah,
and GB chose to, for whatever reason, almost shun Luol Deng. And it happened with Amici to an extent as well.
It did, absolutely right.
And it's like, God, how much, Deng great NBA. He was an NBA All-Star.
Yeah, he was still being played by the Lakers up until a couple of years ago.
Whilst Amici had a solid career second time round, Deng was an NBA All-Star.
Mm.
Yeah, I remember going to watch GB versus Turkey, and it was Deng versus Turgaloo at the time.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah.
And that was fantastic, just watching that. And then, like you said, John Amici was there as well. And, now I look back at that and I think, man, there were some guys in that room right there that could have changed British basketball.
100%.
I mean, there's a guy, I remember watching GB Men playing, who was it now? A really small nation. And there was this guy, and it's like, who is this? I'd have to go back and find out who he was, but I was like, what the hell? And usually the British or American, but he chosen to play for a tiny, tiny little country. I can't remember, but it was like, wow, where's he come from?
Well, let's move things along. There's only 3 games over the weekend, but let's try and come up with a BTR 5 for the week. 5 players that we think played well. Doesn't have to be stat-based, although generally kind of is. But certainly doesn't have to be on the winning team. I'll give you my 5 first, if you like. We go from there. I've got Saeed Nelson, Shaquem Johnson, Dirk Williams, David Sloan, and Patrick Tape. They're my 5. My BTR 5. Boom.
Interesting.
Anyone else want to throw a hat in the ring?
I'm gonna go. I'm gonna keep you with Sloan, 100%.
So Sloan's got 2. Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I'm gonna throw a little curveball in the mix. McFoley for Surrey. New guy had two very good games. I'm gonna go with Nick Lewis.
He did play very well, didn't he?
I'm gonna go with Rashad Hassan for a nice little double that he had. Coming in, what did he finish with now? Was it
12 rebounds, I think.
19
was
it 19 and 10, 19 and 12, something like
that? Yeah, something like
that. And then I'm also going to chuck into the mix Tape.
So Tape's got 2. Go on, Grant, yeah.
I was actually just looking because I hadn't looked far enough down on Ali Hodgic just to see what was his plus minus. Wow. Anyway, Sloan, I want Al Durham because I'll see him most weeks till we put him in properly. I was going to say Nelson. I'm actually going. I'll go Tape as well, and I was going to say Nick Lewis. And I didn't realise Nick Lewis, all his points came not from the 3-point line.
Hey, 1 from 3.
So yeah,
yeah, good effort. Adds one, man.
That's 6 players.
No, I think that was 5.
Okay.
Dirk Williams, Patrick Tape, Nick Lewis, McKendrick Bell.
Oh, yeah.
And Mark Loving.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Even though he hasn't played this week, he was still amazing.
Unbeaten. He didn't lose a game, did he?
No.
Better than some of us did.
So I can tell you now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We've got the 5. We've got the 5. So we've got Nick Lewis. Nick Lewis indefinitely. Patrick Tape indefinitely. David Sloan is also indefinitely. Hang on, where else are we? 2, 3, 2. Oh, Dirk Williams and Saeed Nelson.
I think you've done McFoley dirty on that for Surrey.
Look at his turnovers.
I didn't think he. I mean, I thought he was great outside shooting, but when you've got to take that many shots to get that many points, it's tough. But he's certainly a good signing and something to look out for. But I mean, when you look at the list of players that we've made there, I mean, we left LVC off there, and LVC got a double and actually had a decent game. Fourth quarter, he was knackered, fine, but up until that point, he was decent. Saeed Nelson was Sharks' best player. Dirk Williams had a great game. We all picked Lewis pretty much. Most of us
picked
Tappe,
at Sheffield as well, had a good one.
Hipkins had a good game.
The only reason for me, Mick Foley, having seen him in the flesh on Sunday, he turned the ball over a lot. He was required to do a lot with that team, and the Friday.
Someone's gonna have to though, isn't it? That's the thing where Surrey are right now.
Especially with no Wang and no Bazumbro and yeah.
There we go. That's the five. All right. Lewis, Tappe, Sloan, Dirk Williams, Saeed Nelson. Which leads us to, we're almost finished, fellas. That time of the evening. It's predictions time. Hooray!
Sorry, we'll liven up now, shall we?
Let's go through the results. So, yeah, we all picked Sharks. So we all get one for that. Ads and Grant get one apiece for picking the Giants, and we all picked Gladiators. So not a huge amount has changed.
Hold on, Ads still out for you this week.
Nicholson up to 79. Grant up to 85.
What?
Ads up to 78. And
hold up.
I'm up to 81.
Tables are turning.
So,
it turned a few weeks ago, mate.
Nicholson,
slowly going about it.
Yeah. Grant's got himself a bit of a lead now, which is.
Were you on Pabz?
81.
Oh, you're third.
God damn.
Yeah, it's interesting. So I'm just checking what
stepping up this week.
Games-wise have we got?
Loads.
So we've got the BBL Trophy
7-game card
coming up this weekend. So we're going up to the 5th, if I'm correct on that.
Yep.
Good. Let's begin. Derby Trailblazers is going to be interesting to pick. Derby Trailblazers, the home team. Caledonia Gladiators, the visitors. Grant, my man.
Gladiators.
Of course.
No word of, yeah. 3 games this week for us. 3 games. We're going Wednesday, Friday, Sunday, Friday,
You're going to prioritise the trophy?
We win every game.
Yeah. Ads, my man, what you got? Derby. I nearly said Derby Storm. Derby Trailblazers or the Gladiators? Will Nicholson be tempted to zag? Because we've seen Derby in the flesh and they are a lot to deal with.
No, I won't zag. Glads should win this and Patriots should have won it. But we didn't. Glads will.
I think it's our size that makes a difference there.
I'm tempted to zag.
You could be uninvited to the trophy final.
No,
zag.
No, I can't afford to. I'm trying to catch up with Grant. That's Wednesday's game, so then we skip to the Friday, I think, the 3rd. Yep. Newcastle Eagles at home. Bristol Flyers are on the road. Nicholson, Flyers or Eagles? Eagles
Flyers.
At home. Ads, my man.
Flyers.
Grant.
Flyers.
Yeah, no zagging this time. This has all got very serious now, isn't it? There's no wild
sucks.
predictions now.
I can't gain any ground.
This could be fun. This could be interesting. 7:45. I'm assuming it's the Sky game. Leicester Riders at home. The visitors are the London Lions. Now we saw a very close game in the Cup final in the end. Although I feel like the Lions are always in control, but
It's been interesting because Lions
made a bang
have
of it.
Resting as well, haven't they?
And let's be honest, other than Sharma playing Friday, okay, Ruban thrown down on France, They've not actually missed many guys for international duty.
Hmm.
This break's come for them. How good? Look, Nelson's not played. He's played probably the most basketball of anyone in that team.
Hmm.
But is that going to affect them negatively? That
What,
maybe
by
they're
not
too
playing?
rested?
We shall see.
Nah,
I'll go Lions.
I'm going Lions.
Grant, you going Lions as well? That's my man.
Lions.
I thought you were going to go Riders then, you know. Nicholson, you going to zag? Riders are at home. If
I
they
need
can,
to make
if
up
they can
ground
fill
as well.
that place,
You know, no.
No, don't you change.
I'm retracting. Riders. I'm doing it. I've done it.
I wasn't allowed
Deal
to
with it.
retract last week.
that's because we'd moved
Riders
on
at
to the
home.
next round.
Well, yeah.
Damn it.
I need a ruling then, fellas, if you're happy for me to change his Lions
No, he's
position.
like to change. We're still in that game.
All right.
When Nicholson tried to change, we had already moved on by like 4 games.
Nicholson,
I was tempted to zag. Now ads are zagged. The temptations, not so much.
Not got all night, sir.
No, I'm going to go London.
sticking with the Lions.
Yeah.
Moving ahead, the solitary game on the Saturday. Surrey Scorchers, the home team. The visitors, the Caledonia Gladiators.
You know what I'm going to say?
I'm going to put you down for the Scorchers. Nicholson,
Glads.
I'll go Glads. Ad, you tempted to zag?
No, I'm not. I need glad rags.
Talking of glad rags, where's the hoodie, Grant? Is it warm up north? It's
I'm sitting
like that
with
hoodie.
I'm sitting with a wee blanket on, so no, it's no warm.
I discovered the Bluey UK retailer shop. I did share it with the Discord channel, Bluey.tv. You go on the store and it's got a UK retailer and it's distributor, sorry, and it's great. Anyway, that's the only game on the Saturday. Sunday afternoon, there's 3 full fixtures. Flyers, this should be a good game. Flyers at home, Manchester Giants, the visitors. Ads, my man, where are you going for this? Flyers or Giants? Ooh,
It's a banana peel.
it's an interesting one because the
I'm gonna
Giants
stick
are
with the
playing well.
Giants.
Oh, he's going Giants. Nicholson,
Giants.
Gonna go Flyers.
I'll go Flyers as well. Grant, my man.
I was really hoping Nicholson would zag and decide to go Giants just because I was hoping that would be one to build the gap on. Just Paul. I think Flyers at home. Flyers at home.
Oh my god, I can't gain anything really now.
Have you
guys
looked at the next game?
Yeah, I have.
Oh my goodness, this is
You know who I'm choosing.
Lions, Gladiators. This now. Lions are at home. Gladiators are visitors. Lions may have a point to prove after the trophy. And it's like you say, it's the 3rd game for the Gladiators over that weekend. Grant, you're going Glads, yeah?
Yeah.
Is everybody else going Lions?
Correct.
Ads, my man, Glads or Lions?
Glads.
Glads!
Come on!
Nice. Say it with your chest. Good man.
Ads is anyone but England. London, sorry.
Anyone for London?
England.
Last fixture for us there to cast our vote upon. Cheshire Phoenix at home. Sheffield Sharks, the visitors, and this actually probably out of all of them is looking at this is the toughest one to call. God, I'm gonna go Knicks, but I'm not confident. Ads, my man. Ads, he's frozen. Good, Grant.
Next.
Oh, he said
I know
Knicks.
that.
There you go. I thought
Knicks.
he's just fucking yanking my chain there.
Next.
Gotcha. Grant, my man.
Oh,
Oh, next.
Let's go. I'll go Sharks.
You go Sharks?
Yeah.
I don't know why I sound surprised. It's a real toss-up, this one. Nicholson?
Cheshire.
Ooh. Well, there we go. This could make things very interesting. That's the predictions done. And that's it for us. We're at the end. A few shout-outs, perhaps. We'll see. Ads, my man, thanks for coming on. You got anything to plug or anything to shout out before we go?
Oh, so. No, nothing to say.
Good, man. Grant, my man, what you got for us?
Hopefully still trying to get a couple more players on the Gladcast podcast. I did some post-match interviews last night after the game, so you can always check that out on Spotify and any other media you use. Some good insight with like Gardner, and obviously it was Darryl Wood stepping in for Gareth because he was away with GB. And also caught with like Prince Onwaz and Boban Jack Domi, but also spoke with Chantel after the women's game yesterday as well. So yeah, that's on my podcast.
I heard she talked to you first.
Yeah, she chose to. I asked her first before anyone else got there.
Good.
Caused a bit of a stir, maybe.
Yep.
But yeah, so check that out, and yeah, hopefully to get that, and then obviously the big game Wednesday night. Can the Caledonia Gladiators get to their first final in Glasgow for a bloody long time?
It's nearly 10 years, isn't it?
I was trying to work this out. It was the season we had Shez Marks and Alex Marco Tullio. Shez Marks got released for Alex.
Was that 14, 15? No.
12, 13. I was going to say 13, 14.
13, 14. Yeah.
So, yeah, you're talking 9 years since the finals. I think that was the second year the final was in Glasgow as well. Or maybe so, yeah, we've only been there once since it's been in Glasgow. So it'd be pretty cool if it is, as expected, to be the last one that we end on a high.
Good work. Mr. Nicholson, sir, anything for us?
Me and you are filming. We're recording something tomorrow, right? We got the Pictures podcast for recording tomorrow.
Oh, are you turning up tomorrow, Pabz?
We're doing it from home.
Might even invite you around for a cup of coffee, Pabz, maybe.
We're working from home.
What, you guys were going out? Got me beer and your Christmas hats?
Yeah.
And just keep an eye on Patriots socials. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's stuff.
Exciting. Could be exciting. Sorry. I've got a little thought for the day for you. I talked about this with Grant on the phone last night. I mean, Twitter's a funny old place, isn't it? We know there's a lot of negativity out there, but I've decided I'm going to look at it slightly differently, and I'm expecting maybe some frowned faces. I don't know, maybe not, but there were some nice tweets regarding Mark Hedrick Bell, and there were some morons tweeting underneath some of those tweets with whatever their opinion is, stupid opinion. But we've had it all season long. There's been stuff going on at clubs and people coming and going, and there's been various different things and bullshit tweets from various people. But I'm under the opinion of, good, do it. Please do it. If that's how you feel, if that's what your opinion is, say it with your chest out. Have a little moment. Do one of your little shitty tweets after somebody puts a post out, no matter what the meaning of the post is for them. Make it all about you. Make a shitty tweet, because basically then we know who you are, you little pricks, and you can't hide from that. We've seen what you've tweeted. You're a knob, basically. Yeah. So that's how I look at it now. I encourage it. Freedom of speech. I liken you to neo-Nazis, to be honest with you, when they have all that, freedom of speech and people wanting to say what they like about the state of the world and that, and they do that, and we know who they are. Yeah, we know to stay away from them. We know your tweets are bollocks. We can ignore you. Anyway, I've said that. I'm confused now. Somebody's trying to join the group. Joshua, and I'm assuming that's Josh Bett. So I'm tempted not to let him join.
Is he actually trying to get in?
I hope it's him. It's got to be him.
Let him in, and no one.
Yeah, it's him.
Yeah, let him in. Right, listen.
We've got 3 minutes to go.
The trouble with Josh, though, is he's a fucking prick. I keep telling him he's a fucking prick.
Oh my God. Oh, hello, Josh.
Oh, all right, Josh. Where did you go from?
Oh, no, I just saw the link on my phone. I thought might as well join the meeting.
We've got 2 minutes left, mate. You good?
Yeah, what's up, fellas? We've been on a below the rim in ages.
No, you haven't.
What's up? How we doing?
We don't even know you anymore.
Oh, Lord.
Have you had a haircut, mate? You're looking pretty fresh there.
Are you off on a big flight tomorrow?
Yes, I am. Yeah, I leave at 7 a.m. in the morning, so I'm just getting all my laundry done. Getting my suits done that Adam's accused London Lions of buying for me. Which they were actually presents from my father-in-law. So,
nice.
Man. What do we think
Where
about the GB game, fellas? I'm going to Japan tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. Can you bring me back some stuff?
Well, what do you want back from Japan?
Anything, man. I've always wanted to go. Anything. Little stupid electrical gadgets, whatever.
Get me a Funko.
Whatever you can fit in your bag.
Could you be a little bit more specific? Because you might as well want me to bring you back a pufferfish. You know,
Yeah, that'll do.
One of the ones you got to eat the specific bit or you die, like Homer Simpson.
I'm going to eat some of that in about 2 days. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, fugu. That's what it's called, fugu. The chef's got to be trained for 3 years to learn how to cook it properly.
I still think that's bullshit. I think that's just what they tell you, just to make you feel like a bit on edge, and they can charge you more for it then as well.
It's science. It's the most poisonous animal on the planet.
I know it's not the frog. Those little frogs.
No, it's more poisonous than those little those little tree frogs. And you know what? You talk about Homer Simpson. He licks one of those frogs in one of those.
He does. He goes mad, doesn't he? He goes psychedelic.
This podcast has taken a real twist.
Always does.
Oh man.
Well, we're wrapping up, Josh, mate.
What did you guys chat about? What did you chat about?
Well, we have to listen.
You've got a flight tomorrow. You need to
you got a long flight. Download it.
The fact that your missus is a better commentator than you.
That's a bit harsh,
she's brilliant. She's brilliant, mate. Do you remember she said,
"Oh no,
BBL." I said, "No, WBBL, honey, WBBL."
No, I saw a couple of mystics today, and it was ace that she was there.
Good stuff. Right, well, I'm going to sign off, and we've got less than a minute now. Thanks for joining us, Josh. Thanks for joining us, everybody else. Until next week, take it easy. We'll speak to you soon.
Peace. Focus hoops.